nigga, this is dedication. This is anti-hesitation. This a real nigga celebration. It's a dime block declaration.
One great thing about this particular young man is that he has fallen asleep, but he has awakened us. Nipsey was a great disciple. Fathers, mothers are being shot. That is a mark upon us. And Nipsey wanted to end that. So I'm hoping that this vigil, this candlelight, will be the pinhole that turns into a floodlight to change the tide for our community, because only we can do it.
I'm saddened about today for so many reasons. I've been doing this work in the community for over 25 years as a 25-year-old man that came home from prison and worked with an organization called Ceasefire Don't Smoke the Brothers. And somebody showed me another way. And my thing is, from this day forward, is what would we do? No, what would Nipsey do? Right? What would he do? What are you going to do? Because I'm tired of vigils. I go to them all the time. I've been to over 100 vigils. But the problem is when we practice insanity, we do the same thing all over again and expect a different result. What we have to understand is negative things happen when positive people do nothing. Negative things happen when positive people do nothing. And there's too many good people out here. And what we do is we go back to our communities until something like this happens. Right? We go in our comfort zone and we don't worry about all the brothers and sisters who's starving out here, like Nipsey did. We don't worry about all the people who living in trauma because they didn't see 5 of their friends get killed and nobody's talked to them and they got no therapy. And what we got to do, like somebody before me said, is deal with the self-hate. The self-hate that we have digested into our system from 400 years of slavery has to be reversed. We have to go do what this brother did, man. Uplift their community. If we're not about uplifting our community, this is just a ceremony. And that's one of the problems we got. We'll beat each other up over nothing, but we won't go downtown and fight for something that's going to uplift all of us. We're always waiting for one mistake that a brother or sister make, and we're ready to tear them up. But we don't understand that we got to work together and stop acting like a bunch of fools ready to turn each other down. We're having right here, going to keep on happening. And I'm one of them brothers who've been in the streets for 25 years. Squashed 40 beats in this city, sent 160 children in gangs to college. So I got the right to speak, and I got the right to make a mistake. So what I'm saying is, if we don't come together and do what's right, the same thing going to happen. And we need y'all in the city. If you're not from D.C., guess what? We need you. We need you because we're losing this city, and it's being wiped away from all of us. And if we don't come together, it won't be no people coming in this city. If we don't buy a property in this city like Nipsey did, well, nobody had nothing in this city. So we got to come together, work together, love together, and uplift our nation together. This energy has to be turned into something positive when we keep on uniting and fighting as one. I love y'all. Peace and love.
Like Tupac, he was relentless and restless in his desire to express his clear beliefs about the nature of the struggle that lay before us. You have heard it here today so eloquently about his ability to join entrepreneurial energy with philosophical expression, with lyrical intensity. And let's be honest, people weren't expecting a guy from the hood like that to be that smart. They weren't expecting his kind of critical analysis of Abraham Maslow and the inverted pyramid about which he spoke, and the hierarchy of needs that he reflected on, but he talked about that. And when he and I were speaking, he talked about some of the books that I had written and some of the stuff that I said. Highly intelligent, highly insightful, despite the narrative of the stereotype, the ink on his body, the tears festooned on his face, permanently inscribed in his skin because it was a reading of his own crisis and the crisis of his brothers and sisters. And so, as was eloquently said, some people have said, well, why y'all celebrating him and not others. This is the day, 51st anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr. Other people died on that day too. It is not that we are ignorant of the 11 other people who died the day that Nipsey Hussle died. But what he understood is that he could use his platform to highlight, underscore, and bring a powerful emphasis on stuff because he was more famous. The tragedy of this unforgivable, unspeakable act of horror and death that snatched his life is that he was in the very community that needed him most. Unlike so many others who fled their communities, leave the hood. And some people are saying that now. This is what happens when you try to stay behind. That's not true. This is not the only thing that happens. What happens is so many more people are invested in life than death. So many more people want to see celebration of intelligence and poetry and power and the love for each other. So many other people want to see the evolution of consciousness. We cannot allow one dark, evil blight to remove the beauty and the power of what this man represents. That would be like saying because we have an inveterate narcissist at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, a nihilistic, pathological, incapable of enlightenment buffoon who is incapable of understanding the fundamental arc of humanity, that we should therefore give up on the ability to vote or to strategically intervene in social processes so that we can edify our communities. We ain't going for that. And so Nipsey Hussle was a brave, beautiful man. His beautiful mate, Lauren London, who spoke words that she's lost without him, their child, and his children, without a father. And yet what we must remember is that Nipsey Hussle did not give his life in vain. We don't choose the day we come here, and we often don't choose the day we leave. And yet what is important is the dash between the date of arrival and the date of departure. Nipsey Hussle released more music through mixtapes and through Victory Lap than many people do in an entire career. Like the man he loved, Tupac, who was relentless in his investigation of the horrors and struggles of life. But the beauty of Nipsey Hussle, and when I interacted with him after that date, the beauty was his humility and his willingness to learn what he didn't know, and his willingness to say he didn't know it, and to dig deeper. I loved him because his intellect was so sharp. I teach people every day, from the level of bachelor's degrees to PhD. He was one of the smartest human beings I've met, bar any kind of educational or institutional achievement. And so I'm here today with a heavy heart, a sad spirit, but one that nevertheless looks up. The man who died this day, Martin Luther King Jr., I've written 2 books about him. He died at 39. Nipsey Hussle dies at 33. I don't need to tell you the meaning of that year. Another figure 2,000 years ago gave up his life at 33 years old. Am I trying to say, some people would say, how dare you? Are you trying to call him savior? I didn't say he was a savior. He is a savior. He's a savior of those who look to him for redemption from the carnage that they were subject to when they walked on the street. He saved black and brown and red and yellow people who were able to remove the barriers and obstacles and impediments that kept them from being human. He was a savior to a society that refused to acknowledge the humanity of black people. And one thing he was insistent on is that he loved his people. Yes, Pan-African in the best sense of that word. Yes, global African. Yes, transatlantic blackness, whether it was in Salvador de Bahia, or whether it was in Birmingham, or whether it was in Los Angeles. He understood the nature, the beauty, the persistence, and the uplift of being black without apology or excuse. And so, my brothers and sisters, let's honor his life. Let's honor the beauty and the integrity of his blackness. Let's honor his quest for knowledge, self-knowledge primary among them. Let's honor the beautiful way in which he embraced his loved ones, his beautiful partner, and his child, and his children. And let's, if we will, honor him by taking up his causes, of staying in the hood, of making sure that businesses flourish there, that you can love your own. This miscreant and this misled, unfortunate soul, unenlightened through jealousy and envy that snuffed out his life, only gave a bigger wind to the candle that will not remain extinguished. Nipsey Hussle is a tremendous giant, not simply for the way he died, but especially for the way he lived. And so I join with you to say we must continue to celebrate him. The power of his lyrics, the insight of his mind, the brilliance of his cerebral acuity, but especially the depth of his unapologetic love for us. That's what I took for him that day. That's what will remain in my spirit as we continue to uplift him. And remember these words from Howard Thurman, the great prophetic mystic. He said, refuse to reduce your life and your dreams to the event of your experience right now. What you're going through right now ain't going to exhaust the infinite capacity of the universe to overcome any obstacle. Howard Thurman said our slave foreparents couldn't even imagine what would happen 100 years after they died. And yet they kept on hoping. Either you will be a prisoner of the event of your time, or you will be a prisoner of hope. Nipsey Hussle was a prisoner of hope. Who had more reason to be nihilistic and skeptical than a young man who grew up banging? But he learned to love himself and others by resisting violence. That's what we must do. Don't reduce our dreams to what we see now, but look out upon the horizon. Join hands with now our ancestor and the saint of our times, and with him, walk into the darkness as a light to defy it with every fiber of our beings. God bless the memory of the great Nipsey Hussle.
There's nothing that could ease the pain, but here is what we stand to gain. Forget the fame, we got free game. The seeds have been planted, so it's time to pray for rain. Nipsey baby, you ain't die in vain. The devil tried to erase your face, but millions will spring up in your place. Let's birth a new nation. It's time like this that we really gotta get free. Stand tall, don't fold. Master your energy. Nipsey said that. Tonight we celebrate a life that turned every wrong into a right. Self-love and awareness is what we need. We can't give hate a place to breathe, or a place to bleed. Let's birth a new nation. It's time to fulfill a prophecy, understand our true identity, and be who we were meant to be. Let's birth a new nation. Don't you know we are gods? We can't allow our own people to get killed, raped, or robbed. When a king dies, it doesn't sit well with me. Long live neighborhood Nipsey. Just want to say one more thing. I love all his albums, everything, Marathon, Victory Lap, but he said something. He said, where they call you where you from, nigga? In my city, that's question number one. So you got to think about where they call you where you from. What do you stand for? What do you believe in? What have you done? Who have you saved? I know we living in a social media era, but we really, really need to look at his life and what he's done. Because he did things. He didn't say things. He didn't write captions. He did things. So where they call you where you from? They call me Nurse Patty. I'm from Miami by the way of Haiti. And I represent everywhere I go, all people with melanin in their skin. Because we are gods, and we got to look out for each other. It's not about being self-serving. This is all about community, unity, and the collective.
It's about Brother Nip. Rest in peace, big homie.
Double up, 3 or 4 times, I ain't telling no lies, I just run it up. Never let a hard time humble us. Double up,
So for our people that could not make it here, who did not actually get to hear the positive words that you spoke with us, can you just give us a little piece of what you think we should be doing so that we definitely don't have this senseless violence situation again in our communities?
Yeah, well, violence is extraordinary, but it's predictable. It's predictable that people who are deprived of resources, who are deprived of physical resources, but also psychological sources, material resources, but also internal spiritual resources, that those people are vulnerable to both the forces around them that would hurt and harm them and to replicating the very things that they're trying to resist. And so we saw that with Nipsey Hussle, a man who occupied post-industrial urban space and at the same time trying to fight the forces that would seek to destroy his community that ended up destroying him. That's not a recommendation, therefore, to leave. That's a recommendation for more of us to flood the community, for more of us to go there and spend time and say that this is not the way. Destruction is not the way. Self-hatred is not the way. And also to challenge the forces of poverty and deliberate starving of communities of resources that lead people to become vulnerable to the very violence we want to resist. So what I was trying to say today is that Nipsey Hussle, as a legendary artist, as a spitter of words, as a pavement poet, as a young man who studied history, psychology. He talked about Abraham Maslow and his pyramid of material needs and spiritual needs and moral needs, right? He spoke intelligently about so many of the things he read, and he was able to translate that to everyday people, ordinary black, brown, red, yellow people who were caught in difficult circumstances, and white folk who could hear him and listen to him. So we want to celebrate his life, uplift his legacy, and continue the trajectory of reclamation of community and of introspection that he so brilliantly exercised when he was alive.
Yeah, absolutely right. I have one more question for you. Actually, it's not necessarily a question. One more thing I wanted you to do for me, for the people. What is your favorite Nipsey Hussle bar or lyric?
Wow, I'm prolific, so gifted. I love that because he starts off, right, with his major label. Well, it was his first studio album, only studio album, but he starts off articulating the nature of his prolific art. I ain't just started this. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been prolific. I've been producing. I've been productive. I've been fertile. I've been fecund. I've been generating serious art, mad lyrics forever and ever. And I'm so gifted that I have the ability to express myself through these words on these microphones. So, I mean, there were so many. I mean, I like many of the mixtapes. I even like the new, I'm waiting for the new video with him and John Legend and DJ Khaled. I like the racks in the middle too, where my man is like spitting what he's doing, right? I love that as well. So the guy has been out there for so long doing so much. And then Dedication, where he's dropping that mad insight and that mad lyricism. So Nipsey Hussle, a true god of the microphone, rest in peace, because we will never forget you. We will amplify and echo the genius that you represented.
Mrs. Dyson here, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, thank you.
How do you feel about the outcome of what we had tonight?
I think it's wonderful for a woman of my generation to see the young people holding it down and continuing the legacy of Nipsey Hussle is a wonderful thing because he wanted us to ride for him. I think it was not just around black health, which he was concerned about his documentary, it was also about the black wealth. I think he wanted us to ride past the past where we thought gang formation was our only family, but that's not it. In order for a family to exist, it has to be alive. So he understood education, entrepreneurship. It was very important to our community. So he hit and resonated with me because I'm a woman of the 60s and I was quite radical. So I brought my black leather here to show that I'm hanging it down. And you heard my rep like after police. But more importantly, that we have to look at his real thrust in life that he died on and which we have to rise up on, and that is we have to realize that the greatest capital is human capital and our brothers and sisters matter. And let me be ministerial for a moment. There's a scripture says, envy not your oppressor nor choose his ways, because when you choose the enemy ways, you become your own community. Your own enemy. So I think that we have to be the angels of the moment and rise up and ride.
I don't even have a follow-up question for that. You took us to church with that one, though. You took us to church. Amen, amen. I appreciate your time.
It's up on you. It's up on my granddaughter's 11 years old, and she wept. She wept for XXXTentacion because she saw that these are the young men like Tupac who are trying to give the light. So I'm telling you all to let that light shine. It depends upon you as my light fades into the sunset.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Sanaya Dikil.
And if I'm not mistaken, you are the organizer of tonight's event that we have here?
Yeah, I'm one of them, one of many.
One many?
You're one of many organizers.
So what inspired you all to do such a major turnout for Nipsey tonight in the D.C. area?
You know what? It wasn't something new. You know, a lot of cities are doing the same thing, but we felt here as in D.C. that we wanted to commemorate our brother in a special way, and not only just remember him, but remember his message. You know, it wasn't just about his music, but it was about everything, the work that he was doing, the message he was spreading, and his influence.
What inspires you? What about Nipsey inspired you to want to do this?
Having grown up in the same area as Nip, you know what I'm saying? I'm from California originally. I live here now, but having grown up, it's not a lot of good where we're from. It's not. It really isn't. And unfortunately, to see Nip lights diminish, he was one of the only good things in the hood. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where we're from, it's like there's nothing there. Like, nothing good. And for him, all the work that he was doing, he was like the beacon of light, right? And people followed him, and people listened to him and did the things that he wanted them to do. And we all learned from him. And to see that light diminish really, really hurt us. You know what I'm saying? People across the world is hurt. And hoods everywhere, you know what I'm saying? And so I felt personally like, hey, I lost a brother.
How do you feel celebrating out here? Where do you see the culture moving forward with the physical loss of Nipsey?
Yeah. I think, you know, it's like I had mentioned earlier during the vigil itself, we talked about Nip as being different, and in regards to the time, it ain't a lot of rappers like Nip. And so this is different for us. A lot of people here were relatively young or weren't born when Pac and Big died. So I was a little boy when Pac died. Like, I remember, I'm from the West, and I remember, but it didn't hurt me the same way Nip hurt me. And so, like, for a lot of us here, this is something new. It's a new feeling. And so it can galvanize us to address issues that he was addressing. And not only address these issues, but to come together as a community. And that was the most important thing. Community is his message, rather than individualism. Rather than be the rapper with 100 chains on, why don't you be the rapper with 100 businesses, right? And then employ the people in your neighborhood to work at them 100 businesses. And so I think that's the message that we're trying to put across.
So I had the chance to ask Dr. Michael what his favorite Nipsey bar was. What's yours?
Oh, favorite Nipsey bar, huh? Dang. Bar off the top of my head, I'm trying to think. My favorite song is, I would say my favorite song is Sound of My Ceremony. Sound of My Ceremony, or at the end of, a lot of people don't know, at the end of the marathon, he got the song, can I cuss? I don't give a fuck, right? He got the song at the end of I Don't Give a Fuck. It's one of the realest songs I've ever heard in my life. One of the realest songs I've ever heard in my life. And so that's definitely one of my top two favorite songs.
I understand you from the native homeland of Nipsey Hussle, correct? Yes, sir. Okay, you give us a little more background on that, please.
Yeah, Nipsey, you know, he went back home when he was 18, you know what I'm saying? He changed his life for good, you know what I mean? Back home, you know, we take stuff like here for granted, you know what I'm saying? He came home, you know, he see how we live back home and shit. He come around, he changed his life for good, you know what I mean? He learned, you know, things.
You said he changed his life for good. He came back home and seen how it was, and he wanted to make a difference for the community and for the world, correct? Okay.
They ain't got no food to eat, and water, you know, electricity sometimes, you feel me? Listen on in general in Africa, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, how were you affected by Nipsey before he was actually killed? Was he a big influence on you?
Oh yeah, no doubt. You know what I mean? I know Nipsey. Matter of fact, one of my homeboys, he introduced me the first time, like, or probably 10 years ago, you know what I mean? Hey, listen to this dude, you know what I mean? He's from, you know, this and that, you know what I mean? I started listening to him. And after that, you know what I mean? Ever since, you know, I've been a fan, you know what I mean? Plus, you know, he has the same background that I do, so.
Well, I understand that this may have took a hard hit on you, but we are definitely going to live long Nipsey. Is there anything else that you would like the people to know?
No, man, you know, keep your head up, you know what I mean? Don't give up your dream, you know what I mean? Just like he did, you know what I mean? How it's not fush.
What's up with you, bro? How you doing?
I'm chilling, man. Just glad to be here, be alive right now. You know, having the opportunity to speak to y'all.
I appreciate that. How do you feel about everything that's coming together with our community? Nipsey being from LA, but we having a big impact here tonight.
Nah, this right here, I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of shocked that this many people came out for real. I just started listening to Nipsey after he died for real. I listened to one song, Hustle and Motivate. I heard that before he died, but when I started looking into him, what really got me, he had that Malcom X chain. Like, that was big just because I know what Malcom X stands for because that's like one of my role models for real. So knowing what he stands for and saying that you really went and got a chain to this man speak volumes for who you is and what you stand for. You know what I'm saying? Like that really caught me. Like I said, to go and get a chain of Malcom X instead of a Jesus piece or a Nipsey chain, you know what I'm saying? And to really rock that joint, it really speak volumes for real. Because you know what Malcom X stood for. Well, we know what he stands for. Right. So you know what a dude like Nipsey stands for.
I'm hopeful. It's sad. I knew Nipsey for a bit, a wonderful, beautiful, intelligent young man. But his spirit clearly will live on. His legendary status has been submitted. He is with the angels and the ancestors, and we continue to pray that his spirit will be blessed by God, but he has blessed us on this earth, and we're thankful for the time he spent here, 33 years.
Thank you so much. I want to ask you really quickly, how do you think us as a people, you see how many, we're here in the DMV Culture Club, but we're here in Malcom X Park. How do you feel us as a people here united today? How can we progress and move forward, knowing that what Nipsey has done and brought to light within our generation as well?
Let's do what he did. Stay in the hood, love black people unapologetically and without excuse. Let's build businesses and become entrepreneurs and hire our own people and make sure that they are working, that they have food, and use technology. We don't even talk about how much he was very instrumental in bringing technological resources to his own community and open to that. So if we do all of that and make the best art we can make the best lives we can make, love our women, love our men, love our children, and embrace each other as black people, because we need that more than ever because of the forces from without and from the forces from within. And the young man misled, deeply and profoundly pathological, who took the life of Nipsey Hussle, we pray that there are fewer of those in our community and many more Nipsey Hussles. And let's take away the guns that allow them to have the machinery and instrumentality of destruction. So let's challenge, the ownership of guns so indiscriminately, and make certain that we are policing our neighborhoods, not only with material regard for their safety, but the psychological and spiritual resources we need to share with each other as well.
Here I have the one myself.
How you feeling this night, man?
I'm blessed. I feel great. I feel amazing, yes. Nipsey is moving through my spirit, y'all. And like when he passed, bro, like he real life just multiplied. You feel me? Like he just grew in everybody knowledge of him, everybody thought process as far as everything. Like people had the speculations, people had to say what they wanted to say, but it's moved from the decisions that you had later on. It wasn't necessarily more so like, you gotta grieve or you gotta look at, your men the wrong way. I feel as though it's teaching you to look at your circle, check who you around you, like be more close to family and understand and keep moving like that. Like my man telling me that they want to start music because of it. I'm like, nah, fool, this is the best time to keep pushing forward because that's exactly what he wants you to do. You know what I'm saying? Come on now, I'm telling you, like I was first exposed to him through the song Killer with Drake, you know what I'm saying? And I heard it then like, tapping in, I wasn't really with the spin reel, I was with the masses, the, Apple Music and all that shit. So I ain't peep his mixtapes, but then once Victory Lap came out and it was on there, you know what I'm saying, double up, play it on my head, and that's all I ever spoke to. That's all I ever felt like could touch me, because I'm a singer, I'm an artist, I rap. And I take pictures, and with that, I could just see a vision that he was painting that he created, like, in that moment of his last days. Like, Victory Lap was everything. Like, and that's your first. I'm glad everybody here talking, and I'm glad everybody here uniting and coming together and networking. I'm a Messiah, and I love everybody here.
SP The Plug, Sean Perkins from Detroit, reside in D.C.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to make that painting?
I did it this morning. So I'm at the auto show downtown, painting for Toyota. So before I went to the convention center, I did it. Woke up early and knocked it out.
What inspired you to paint that?
Nipsey, one of my favorite artists. I met him last year at Broccoli Fest. Okay. I gave him a painting last year too. So we got to dap it up, chop it up. He was hella cool. I always looked up to him, so I had to show respect. You know what I'm saying? Pay homage.
That's love.
Yeah.
So I'm an artist with myself in my own right. You know what I'm saying? I like to use little Crayola crayons. So I'm gonna ask you, what kind of paint did you use when you made your painting?
I did acrylic on canvas. I also work with oil too.
Okay, nice. And I saw it. I saw the painting, and it was beautiful. How did you channel that energy to capture his likeness?
When you really look up to somebody, you really feel like, especially his music, I kind of just let that, give me the motivation and play around with the colors and just went to work.
Got you.
Did you free write that? Did you freehand that?
Freehand, yeah, I always freehand.
Wow, always freehand.
How long have you been painting?
5 years now.
5 years?
Yeah, 5 years.
Wow. I've been coloring all my life, and I still can't stay inside the lines.
Nah, you got it.
My stick men look terrible.
Nah, that's what everybody say. Y'all good, man. Y'all good.
All right, well, let everybody know where they can find you.
SP The Plug on Instagram. That's also my website, so sptheplug.com.
All right, well, it was great having you here. Thank you for from Detroit to D.C. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing more of your beautiful artwork and your healing work around the city. So, yes, bless up to you.
Being from D.C., how did this hit you?
Man, actually it affected me hard like it did the rest of the world because Nipsey is like a solid dude, like, and everybody felt that from everywhere just off of his accomplishments and his status of what he did. You feel me? Like, this man bought a whole duplex and employed people in his neighborhood. You feel me? Like, so that alone in itself speaks volume of how he feel about the community and the people in the area. Like, he really respected his area, and people respected him for that. I feel like what he did and like being that he passed, like just woke everybody up, you feel me? Because like a lot of people wasn't aware of what he was doing because a lot of people wasn't listening to him. But the people that was, they was getting the message. But now everybody has the message. He definitely just gave me more okay and definitely like do what you want to do, you feel me? Make it happen. You can definitely make it happen.
So we can look forward to you buying some blocks in D.C.
Definitely buy some blocks, buy the Berry Farms back, you know what I'm saying? We're going to name it Berry Farms again, buy Fools Creek back, then Fools Creek, baby, you know what I'm saying? That's where I'm from, baby, you know what I'm saying? But R.I.P. Nip, man, we miss you, we're going to miss you forever.
How do you feel about the outcome for tonight?
It's beautiful. Like, I'm glad that everybody was able to come together and, you know, just show all of this love to Nipsey. It's unfortunate that it has to be like this. You know, like, I wish that he could celebrate his life here and in the now, you know, instead of like this.
So how do you feel like things are going to be different, or what do you feel like we should do different so that we can kind of eliminate how often this happens in our community?
I definitely think that this is going to change the family trajectory. We're going to break generational curses. We're going to be able to invest in ourselves, invest in our families, and teach the things that Nipsey left for us. He left a blueprint for us to follow, and we definitely need to go with that. This is the reason why I speak out about this, because my father was incarcerated my whole life, and he gave me that hope that we can change these things around. So definitely reading more. Anything that you want is in a book. Right. Absolutely. So whatever we need to change, we need to find it in a book. Anything. Personal development, financial wealth, whatever it is, that's going to help us get to the next generation and never forget about Nipsey Hussle, ever. And Tupac, I love you.
I was a kid when Pac died. I was a kid when Big died. But I feel Nip, and it feels good to see all the other people who do. Whether you knew that music that much, I know you knew the impact he had on the culture, so it feels good to see.
So are you originally from D.C. or the DMV area?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
So you say you're an artist. So knowing the structure that Nipsey developed within, you know, his community and his family, you know what I'm saying, as well, just to have that generational wealth going forward, how do you feel he's impacted you and your business decisions with your brand?
I think he's impacted me a lot. Even way before this, I used to be watching like the moves, how he came up. So I think he showed me a lot of game as far as holding out, not signing a deal initially. You know, hold out with your brand, take it as far as you can, and then sign that deal when you had the most leverage. He showed me how to roll out your albums. You know, I was watching the whole Victory Lap roll out. I was watching him doing interviews, speaking on that. He showed me about planning. You know, he showed me about when you get your money, what you should do, invest it back into the neighborhood. It showed me a lot. I got an EP dropping this month, and I'm not going to say I'm talking about him on there because the majority of it is done, but there will be music in the future, I'm sure, where I'll be speaking on that. And I'm sure I'm speaking on the same type of lessons, you know. When he said, can we cuss on here? Like, fuck living basic, I'm taking risks. Fuck what they saying, I'm saying this. It don't mean nothing, it don't make you rich. Like, that shit he's saying, I feel that in my soul.
It was great really talking with you. Let everybody know exactly where they can find you, because we're looking forward to hearing you in the future. I love your spirit. You have some good energy. So, yeah, we're looking forward to your moves.
Yeah. At the Young K-A-N-G, that's at the Young Kang. And all I want to say, my main thing I want to say is to our black brothers. I feel like we have to start realizing we live in life like it's the movie Us. You know what I'm saying? We're killing ourselves. You got to stop and think you killing a reflection of yourself. You know, not to get too deep, too philosophical, but right now, you know, these are the thing. I just lost 2 homies at the top of the year, and now we lose Nipsey right after. And I don't know when we're going to start realizing it's like we're fighting a battle from both sides. You have these crackers that want us dead, and you have ourselves that want us dead. So we have to start at some point and realize to love each other, like as my brother, as my sister, you know. So that's my main message to y'all, man. Rest in peace to Nipsey. The marathon continues.
I got my man Tokyo Crow here. What's happening with you, baby?
Trying to get rich, same shit. Out here for this positive situation for a negative reason, you know what I'm saying?
How does that make you feel?
Oh man, I'm hurt. It hit me like if it was my homie or something, you know what I'm saying? Because I've been listening to this man since '08, so it's like damn, like this is like looking beyond everything that everybody else know. Like a lot of core fans know what he was doing outside of, you know what I'm saying, outside of the music, and like to see it and be like, damn, like this was one, you know what I'm saying? It's like a whole nother Pac situation. I wasn't that old for the Pac situation, so like this is like it right now, you know what I'm saying? So,
well, being from the DMV and seeing the outcome of this here, like how do you feel about it? You know what I'm saying? Like this happens a lot, unfortunately. But for everybody to come together here in the DMV, how does that make you feel?
Good, man. Hopefully we can come together more like this on a more positive note. And nobody has to pass away for us to come together like this. You know what I'm saying? But it's good for what it is, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully his message hit everybody the same way. And we all think about, damn, is that shit really worth it? Is that shit like him stepping on my shoes, or me not liking his music, or he having more money than me? Is it really worth it to do something to that man? You know what I'm saying? Instead of going to him and being like, hey, can I work with you? You know what I'm saying? So
we trying to bring that unity together in the DMV.
Man, I'm praying for it. We need it. We need it like shit. We need it.
All right, so I understand you got a new album coming out because you're an artist yourself. So, you know, following the blueprint of Nipsey, what exactly have you learned from him that you're going to implement into your own blueprint?
Be real with yourself. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be a facade for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Be you. If you a street nigga, talk that street shit, but also put some positive light on top of that street shit. You know what I'm saying? Give it from the ground, you know what I'm saying? Give it from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? Really give it from the ground up. Show like the negative part, but also the positive side of why you're going to change that. Don't just be negative the whole way through. You know what I'm saying? So on my project, it's called Blade Brown. You know what I'm saying? Which he was a bully. If you saw Class Act, you know what I'm saying? You know, Blade Brown was a bully. But he changed his life at the end. You know what I'm saying? He changed his life. He was positive. He did school shit. He was in school. He did all that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm taking from it. Like, I'm going to show you everything. I'm going to give you the negative, and I'm going to give you the positive light on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just going to keep it negative because that's not what the world needs right now. You put that negative energy in the air, you know what it is. Music is the biggest influence in the world. You know what I'm saying? Without music, we would be nothing for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? We need music. So people listen to your words and really follow your words. So if you're going to speak negative, put some positive light on it too. Tell everybody the whole story. Don't just be negative about it.
What's your favorite Nipsey line or bar?
Shit. My favorite song is that Blue Laces 2 jump. It's too many bars, bro. Too many bars, bro. And I'm gonna keep it a stack. It's too many. Like, I don't have a specific favorite because every song touched me a different way. You know what I'm saying? Every song gave me that, oh, I'm ready to ride. But then it was like, nah, it ain't even worth it. Because it just gave you that. You know what I'm saying? So my favorite song, though, Blue Laces 2. If you don't know that song, check that joint out ASAP.
Man, we just trying to represent for Nipsey one time, man. We seen y'all had it going on.
So how do y'all feel about the gathering that we had in the DMV with y'all being from the West Coast?
Man, that shit was real. That shit was real. It's love, man. It's love. Man, it shows that black brothers can build from no matter where they from, no matter where they get down. We all can get together, we can all build together, and we all can relate because we go through similar struggles, though we got different cultures. You know, when the first time I came to D.C., I went to a go-go back in 2000. No, I ain't gonna lie. I went to a go-go in 2005. You know what I'm saying? I went to a go-go in 2005.
When the clappers was real.
Man, that's when it wasn't safe to go to a go-go, right? Yeah. But at the same time, I had a similar experience being from Oakland. The side shows that we go through, I was like, it's a different sound, but it's the same attitude. So the culture, I understood it immediately. Immediately, I'm like, yo, a lot of people not gonna get it, a lot of people not gonna respect it, but at the same time, man, I love it to the heart, man. So at the same time, when I see people showing love to Nipsey, it's like, man, we have a certain community that can bond through struggle, man. So power up, you know what I'm saying? From DC, we understand that we all need to build, grow together, and I wish everybody in DC love, man.
We appreciate that, man. We appreciate that, man. What's happening, man? Shout yourself out.
One, you know what I'm saying, I think like this happening all over the country though, and everybody that come out for this event, they're not Nipsey fans, you feel me? So Nipsey go a lot deeper than rap though, and you listen to what he talking about, like you got respect for Nipsey as a man, as a hustler, all types of stuff, you know what I'm saying? And so like, to the point you made, like I'm from Oakland, you see it on, look, this right here, Man Up, you know what I'm saying, Making a New United People, it's a non-profit, we do community work. So whatever community you in though, if you black, you're supposed to be tapping in, you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be working with black people, you're supposed to be building, and like that's exactly what he was preaching, but it's not just what he was preaching, it's what he doing, you feel me? It's what he doing, so you can check those stats and like that's what we on, you know what I'm saying? So I promote that on everybody.
When it comes to like a unified group of people, I see that no matter what color, you always gotta, respect each other, you know what I'm saying? Famous or not famous, black, white, any type of thing. We coming out here to respect a man who did a huge impact, you know what I'm saying, in, I would say, rights and like individualism with each person out here, showing that the way that like he just did a huge, what's the word, like greatness in a way, which showed the fact that
He started a legacy.
In a way, yeah, he has started a legacy that like even to the day that he died, it still continues. You know what I'm saying? Just like how we said with the marathon, it's still gonna keep go on for like years on years on years. It's still gonna be passed down blood by blood, even if they're not even blood. You know what I'm saying? We all out here not even blood, but we all technically like blood. We all respecting each other.
We all got red and blue and make purple. We all blood.
Every day, you know what I'm saying? So like respect on that.
So
yeah, I'm glad to see people come out here, man. It's not only DC, you see people in Houston, Minnesota, you know what I mean, all over the United States. So you could definitely tell that Nipsey has an influence on all of us, so I'm glad to see people out here.
Listen to a little bit more of his documentary, how this guy literally like started from the bottom just like how we did, you know what I'm saying, selling his music off of the back of his truck, you know what I'm saying, with his CDs, mixtapes, you know what I'm saying, and that like as he grew older and whatnot, he started respecting more of his culture. Like myself, I'm Eritrean, my man's over here is actually half Eritrean as well, so I respect the fact that, you know what I'm saying, as he got older he realized like his roots with his father and mother and all that stuff, and I really respected that. It was cool of him to, not too long ago, came last year, actually visited, the hometown of DC, and spoke in front of millions of kids and like, elders and whatnot from Eritrea itself for like a huge conference. I had like the behalf to meet him. Most amazing guy I've ever met. One of the most amazing people. Had a heart, had a way of telling people to, never give up, to continue to, grow a legacy such as he did. You know what I'm saying? So like, the words that both his music, not only his music, but like just like the passion of how much, he had love for himself, his family, and everybody in the world, has always got to put respect on that, you know what I'm saying?
I think it was mandatory for me to come out here. Nipsey actually motivated me through college and through every entrepreneurial endeavor I've ever been involved in. I put him in the same class as Diddy, as 50, Jay-Z, that type of level of motivation. You know what I mean? He came from nothing and used his platform to not only bring himself up, but bring others as well. You see it with all of the, donations to things like Vector 90, his own marathon shop, basically employing people within his community. So, I really respect Nipsey on that level.
I'm sorry about what happened. And we're really sorry. And stop killing.
You're so beautiful, Leah. Thank you for being with us today. We need to stop killing. You're absolutely right.
It was dark clouds on us, but that was perfect for us. We know you always crash and burn, but it was working for us. I'm prolific, so gifted. I'm the type that's gon' go get it. No kidding. Breaking down a switch in front of your building. Killed Dr. Sebi, he was teaching health. I fuck with Rick Ross cause he teaching wealth. Dropped out of school, I'ma teach myself. Made my first meal on my own, I don't need your help. Pull up in motorcades, I got a show today. It's all I'm trying to do. Hustle and motivate. Choppers a throwaway. Hustle the overweight. That's why they follow.
Define
who you are and what you are and be clear on that, meditate on that, and then live and die by it. You can't break the rules, the fundamental rules. Be a man of your word. Do what you say you're gonna do. Respect people the way you would like to be respected. I look at it like, you know, we honor the people that ain't quit. We honor the people that stayed down.
Life is what you make it. I hope you make a movement. Hope your opportunity survives the opportunist. Hoping as you walk across the sand, you see my shoe print and you follow till it change your life, cause it's all evolution. And I hope you find your passion, cause I found mine in this music. But I hope it's not material, cause that's all an illusion.